Hello everybody, my name is Dhruti Shah. I am live at this wonderful grove. I call this a grove because um, it's a space that holds you, um, a space that allows you to be completely in tune with anything and everything you are without any judgment. And this wonderful space, Just Be, is a grove for many spoken, unspoken, and often never ventured dialogues. And I am so honored to be a part of this space for so many years. And thanks to my most precious friend and soul traveler, time traveler, Nabila, to have been generously working towards offering the space to people like me. Why I say people like me is because I myself stay inside a cave and I'm very comfortable being a bear inside my own cave until people like her come into my life and say, well, I want you to bring your cave to my grove. That's how I happened to start working with her and in this beautiful space. So very quick introduction of what I really do. As hard as it is always for me, I will start with a little introduction of me, followed by the topic, listening to the sacred wisdom of your body. I'll tell you what that means, followed by a small meditation, and then we will follow the rhythm of whatever comes. Please forgive me if you are not able to gather every single word as I am speaking. It's because the usual, I can be quite shy in front of camera, like many others, I'm sure. Shy not from a perspective, I'm not used to seeing myself, and I'm sure that all of us face this. But this is also a great tool, now that I see it, to exude your authenticity in a way that offers you a sense of perspective each time you finish talking. So what do I do here? Hard question. I am very invested in soul work. It's something that I would like to make it more. There's a lot of purity, or I make a lot of space for the soul to do most of the conversation, and I'm constantly in pursuit of trying to understand what the soul wants, what it is that the soul is pursuing, and in this body, what is the soul actually expressing in different growth cycles from infant to whatever age that the human grows into. More than that, what is it that the soul is actually looking for? That is what I'm fully invested in. So there are many labels or titles that I can offer of what I do. Like I can say that I'm somebody who is a breathwork expert, but I don't want to say that because I'm not an expert in anything. Or I can say that I'm a healer, but that also I don't want to say because I'm not sure that that's the only thing I offer. I feel like each one of us is a healer. So there are just these many titles that I want to kind of get rid of today and just join you in such a way that we meet as equals, and not that I do anything extra or enhancing. That is not something you do. We're all, at the end of it, we're all the same. So I do a lot of internal work. I do a lot of internalization. I spend greater amounts of time in um, looking for ways to honor my body and my needs, and I try and offer that space to people who come and attend my workshop every Saturday. So there are different aspects that I cover. I use indigenous instruments to evoke emotions. I use sounds, primitive sounds, human sounds, to evoke emotions, to allow a certain rite of passage, or to allow the soul to express itself. I use writing as a medium. I use breath work. I use chants, but not traditional scriptural chants, more chants that are primitive, that are within each one of us through different sound cycles. And I use diverse intuitive transmissions where I hear this world and many worlds at the same time, which is something that I have worked or invested on for a very long time inside my cave. First recognition was the cave. The cave is a very big recognition that this cave is important. It's a womb where all the ideas are getting simmered and brewed. And from here, the birth really happens of who you are as a personality. So, internal work is very, very important. Without internal work, we will not be able to understand the complexities of human life. We will not be able to deal with maybe heavy emotions like loss of a loved one, or a pandemic, an epidemic, or political dominion which governs our lifestyle, what we should do, what we should not do, loss of a job, discomfort between relationships with your parents, with your spouse, with your friends, with yourself, anxiety, trauma, all of that will not be understood if we do not invest in inner work. So what is inner work, which I also call soul work? Forgive me if my introduction will blend into what this whole work is. I like the fact that everything just blends in and I can flow like a river, because that way I can offer myself more freely, and I hope you get the best out of whatever this offering is. So, what is soul work? Soul work is a very vast term, and there are many aspects of there are many aspects that one can talk about in relationship to soul work. My simple definition of soul work is sitting with your emotions as they are. Very simple. Sitting with your emotions as they are. I'm not a parent, and I'm no one to comment on how parenting or childbearing can feel like. However, there is a faculty of human empathy that we all carry, and that can be translated into our relationships. So from that point of view, from a point of view of pure compassion, I can just say this, that when a child is extremely young, we don't expect the child to be very confident about this life. Neither do we expect the child to know who he or she is. We offer the name to the child, an identity, a culture, a certain way of life, which are all nurturing tools for this child to understand his or her place on earth, which is beautiful. And each one is doing their best to offer the best to their children. Now what happens here is, and this is a very crucial, I'm not, once again, forgive me if it sounds like I'm talking about parenting, but I'm not. I'm talking about a very crucial essence that we are not able to meet, and where actually a faculty of our five senses deteriorate. When the child is developing, there is only love. The parent is absolutely smitten by the child. The child is absolutely smitten and maybe shocked at the number of faces the child has to see, and there is no separation, if you notice, between the child or the parent and maybe relatives and friends who come to see this child. Very important to know that that is a very pure state. There is no expectation. There is no separation. There is no division. So the child is immensely free. The child can do whatever he or she wants. And the parent will always be overjoyed by the smallest things that the child does. What happens when you grow up? When the child begins to grow up, the child starts picking up different aspects from the time it was a kid. Something very, it might sound a little crude, please forgive me if it does. It is only as illustrating an example. For example, when the child is exploring its genitals, its sexual organs for the first time, its private organs for the first time, when the child starts exploring itself, the parent or anybody who's an adult will look at it and say, no, don't do that. So the child doesn't understand don't do that. The child understands the energy. The energy behind it means something is wrong, something is not right, this is not right. Now for the child, if you say it's not right energetically, the child will want to explore it more. Isn't that a common human behavior? So what do we grow up believing? That touching our private organs is wrong. There's something absolutely wrong about it. And it is not the fault of the parent. Please do not judge anybody in this. This is not the fault of the parent. They are just doing their absolute best to raise a child in a world that can be socially acceptable, and also they are doing their best to educate the child in their own faculties, in their own methods, in their own perspective, through their own experiences, which they think is good for them. But now what happens here is the child remembers that this is a very, the reason this is a crude example, and I'm not giving any other example, is because it's a very direct, incisive example which will, it's like a pin in the skin. Most of our body issues come from here. Shame, body shame issues, or I'm not acceptable, I must look nice, I must I must represent something in the society, I must look good, I don't think I can wear this dress, I don't want to show my private parts, I think there is something wrong. Sexually, a child, when he or she is assaulted, begins to start hiding himself. So there are many factors how conditioning plays a role in the upbringing of a child, and there is nobody's fault. It is all an experience. What I'm really coming to here is soul work starts from here. The germination of soul work actually starts from here. When our own parents or elders or teachers or school or institutions may or may not be a perfect model or example of self-leadership or growing of our personality, these this spectrum of our teachers and society and mothers and fathers, etc., represent something much bigger. So what do they represent? They represent soul work. They represent going completely within yourself, which is why we must always remember that everything that has happened to us on every level, wrong or right, negative or positive, I will not use those labels, has happened purely based on an experience where the person who has transmitted the information to you has transmitted purely from his or her experience. You have received it purely as an experience that you would like to adapt to. As you grow older, your personality actually starts shape-shifting. You start questioning a lot of things. surroundings. This is all a part of living. There is no escape from it, right? So sorry to put the pin in the balloon. There is no escape from life. So like sit with it for like maybe 2 seconds and see that everything that has happened so far has allowed us to become much more human if we take the slightest measure to understand what it is that this human behavior actually means, and how do we become more intuitive to understanding what is my voice and what is the voice of the conditioning. So there are a lot of other ways, like I mentioned before. There are many other therapies that are available. There are many other tools and equipments that are available that people are taking these days, which I think is beautiful, because we are creating a new way of living. We are creating a new way of living, not just for ourselves, but for our future generation, for our children and their children. And we're also doing a lot of work on an ancestral level, for our families, for our parents. We're doing a lot of work. On a soul level, we're doing a lot of work. So congratulate yourself for wherever you are. I'm going to quickly now come to soul work and body. So going by the first example of how the child remembers that the parent has said no to not touch your private organs. So the child has instantly registered the information that has been received as something is not right. So the body remembers it. When a child goes through a traumatic experience, either through an accident or the loss of a loved one, or if the child has been sexually assaulted, or if there is abandonment issues, or if there is any childhood trauma where the family has been extremely divided and scattered and the child has absolutely no clue who he or she is. If there has been a family trauma where people who lived in joint family, the child is kind of growing into that. There are many reasons. We can go on and on. But what happens? Trauma gets registered. Now, what is trauma? It is nothing but, very simply, I'm making it very simple. I'm not somebody who's an expert at this, but I'm just doing this, I'm saying this purely out of my internal work. So forgive me if there are any technical aspects that I have not touched on. It's not my subject, so I won't comment on it. I will only talk from experience, body experience, soul experience. Trauma is nothing but what the child remembers based on its 5 senses. Clear? For example, if a child is raised in a war zone where there was a war and militants have just walked in, the child has been afraid, has already sensed, doesn't know why it's happening, but can sense something is not right. Now the child is sitting in a space where a militant walks in with a gun. The child has never seen a gun. But let's say this child is about 7 or 8 years old and the child saw the gun. The first reaction is, so this is a protection. It's a defense. It is, the body is now secreting juices to defend. The mind has said alert, 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 red alert, red alert. So the child has immediately withdrawn and it's afraid. He or she doesn't know what's going to happen. Now the militant walks in and looks at the child, stares at the child for a very long time. The child doesn't know what to do. It might start peeing, it might start crying, it might start howling, anything can happen. Let's say in this case the militant walks away, says I don't want to touch the child, just walks away. Has done nothing to the child is alive and we say thank God he's alive. Very small example. But this trauma will get carried on forever if no help is received by this child. So this child at 8 has still registered this memory. He or she may have absolutely forgotten that such an incident even happened. Or he or she may remember it very clearly. In fact, hyper imagine it, or might be hyper vigilant be extremely alert in the body. So now this child will be afraid of a lot of things, will be afraid of noise, will be afraid of different things, will probably even make up stories because it has not received that moment of protection. It wants to protect itself. These are all facets of trauma. Your five senses, your sight, your eyes, your taste buds, everything have registered that incident. Imagine the number of incidents the body registers. This beautiful body of ours knows when danger comes in, so it protects itself with that. It knows when it needs to let loose, so it takes a breath. It knows when it's very scared, so it does this, you know. It knows when it's happy, so it just becomes uncontrollable. It knows when it wants to be high, so when it's probably, you know, when you're on alcohol, or when you are on certain ceremonies, like when you go for ceremonies, etc. The aim of the body is to actually express itself. When we all dance, when we sing, everything is then body is just expressing itself continuously. When we lose a loved one, the way we withdraw, we are not able to think. When we want to offer compassion and empathy, how we hold somebody, everything is based on your senses. Your senses are actually governing every part of your emotion in the body. Now, how has that got to do with the soul? So where is the soul? If you wonder, everything is happening to the body, where is the soul? Why are we talking about soul when all this while we are talking about the body and the five senses? I don't remember the quote exactly, but there is a very beautiful saying by a poet. I don't know his second name, but his first name is William. I read it some time ago, and he says, let us consider that the body and its five senses is the reservoir of the soul. So it's extremely pertinent that the body must be considered the home of the soul, and even much more that the body is the soul. Now that's a very tall statement to make, but he's a poet. So poetry is a way of transcending the boundaries and borders of a lot of things that reality cannot touch. So I consider the depth of this poet's statement about the body being the soul as very important in the subject that I'm touching upon today. So our body is constantly giving us information. Fight and flight. Fight and flight, most of you have probably heard of it, is when the body is extremely alert. It has to get to work, so it starts rushing. It has to get somewhere on time. Also remember that these are all conditioned. If I don't reach on time, I might lose a job. If I don't get some, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't do these things. Of course you should. I'm talking from a very different subject. So forgive me if my examples seem to be very literal, but they are not literal. Try and take the metaphor from it, because if the more you think from a metaphor point of view, the more this dialogue between us will take on a better structure within you. So everything is governed by our five senses. Now, when we do not understand the child within us that is talking to us, let's call this child the soul for the time being. Yeah, this child at a certain age, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, doesn't matter. It is an information portal, so it will keep giving you these information. When you eat a certain kind of food and you don't feel good about it, but you ate it, you didn't eat it because you like it. You eat it because maybe you're sad. Let's say you really like it and you want to enjoy it. Trust me, the food will give you no harm, whether it's a KFC or a McDonald's. If you took it in your mouth purely out of feeling good about it, nothing. But if you took it out of a certain, I feel a void. I feel like I want to get my mind off something. So you'll probably just eat. The energy behind the things that you are doing will govern your action. Now, what happens in this case is we are not able to give time in a fight and flight or a cult called the cult of speed. We are not able to give time to something. Time is a very precious commodity in a day and age that we live. And it's very unfortunate that our collective unconscious has created a time-bound experience for all of us, that we are not really able to sit with ourselves and regain or attain more clarity about what does it mean to be us and what role are we playing in the society. Now, whatever you call it is unfortunate, it has happened. We cannot change the given circumstances. Neither can we passively accept it. Acceptance also comes with a cost. When you start accepting things just the way they are, then there is absolutely no growth for you. Something should bother you. You should get triggered. You should get very, very affected by few things. I'll tell you why. Because sensitivity is the only way, the only information that your inner child or your soul is offering you, just so that you can have absolute clarity of what is possible from you. Did you know you're a dancer? You didn't know you're a dancer because somebody told you you don't dance well. Somebody told you that your body is so out of proportion that it will take a lot of time. Somebody told you, no, you have to start training from the age of 10, only then will you become somebody. You've been told countless number of stories of what you are not, or how you cannot be something. How do you bring perspective to this when probably there is a ballet dancer sitting inside you, probably there is a singer sitting inside you? I mean, forget about the labels, forget about being a singer or a dancer. The possibility of creative expression is so within you. You have not even been able to see it because it has not been registered that this can be of importance to you, because we have not heard the body. And of course, there is no cookie cutter solution to this. This is why it's life. It's not something that we can attain overnight. We have to go through the emotional journey. We as human beings have to go through the emotional journey. But how to consciously go through the emotional journey is what the subject is about today. So now I'm immediately going to move into a practical meditation, which I call, it's actually not a meditation, it's a basic scan. It is a way to courageously see yourself. Another point I want to make before I go, there's something very small. Have you noticed when you are made to feel safe, you actually start expressing yourself better? But when you don't feel safe, your body will tell you. So it will withdraw. But let's say if somebody is actually there with you, who makes you feel very safe, who holds your hand and says, I'm here, I'm not judging you, I can hold it. Somebody actually rubs your hand and is just there by your side. Sometimes it's very rare to find that. That's why offering that to yourself is what I'm going to talk about. And it can be difficult and it tears me up because I have had to offer this to myself for almost all my life. Yeah, but it's a way of showing up to yourself, just because somebody may not be there to show up to you. But from here, you will add meaning. You will attract meaning and spirit and essence in your life if you start showing up to yourself and take baby steps. So safety is a very big word. Sometimes you will find somebody who makes you feel a little uncomfortable. You don't want to talk. You don't know how to talk. You don't know what is governing your non-talking. But the person is like, why are you not talking to me? I've called you so many times, you're not talking to me. You feel it's an attack. You feel that the person is not understanding you. That person is only doing what he or she is doing based on his or her instinct. It takes a certain development to say, I am not in a very good place at the moment and I will call you when I'm ready. Now these things we are not taught in a curriculum in school, unfortunately. I wish we start teaching children the curriculum of safety, when to say no, when to say I don't want something, and be very clear about it. Most children are clear, until adulthood takes over. So these things are all part of a safety, concept of safety. When you feel unsafe, you will protect yourself. You will not allow yourself to feel. You might become numb. You might become very busy. You might say, oh, I'm very busy, I'm very busy, I'm very busy, I'm very busy. This is all a way to coping mechanism, to hide your emotions, to hide your feelings. It could also be that you do not want to face it because it's too much for you and you don't find safety anywhere. Who will listen to you? What will happen to you? You might lose your job, you might lose your personality, you might lose your wife, your husband, your children, your own idea of who you are. There are so many factors. So I touch upon a lot of these subjects on Saturday. So we actually do practical body work on Saturday. There is no escape. When my Saturday workshop happens, you cannot escape your emotions. But what I actually do is I built this grove, or rather this is a grove. I built a cave inside this grove where people feel very safe in their bodies and in their expression. There is absolutely no judgment. So let us see how we can try and create this safe space for our body. How do we soften our body? How do we, whoever we are, wherever we are, whichever culture or religion or gender or sexual preference we are born into or we have chosen to live into, has nothing to do with this work. This is purely the relationship between you and your body, or you and your soul, right? So the first thing I'm going to share with you is how to listen, right? And if you are online and if you're in a comfortable space where you can do this with me, please go ahead and do it. If you're not in a comfortable space, whenever you watch this video, whenever you arrive to this, I hope you try this. And for those who do not wish to try, you can just listen and understand. If it connects and resonates to you, please go ahead. It's something that I practice on a daily basis. So it is a gift of practice that I'm offering on how to listen to your body. So we will talk about 3 different types of listening. The first listening is how to listen to your body. How to soften or hold space for your body. Now when I say body, I mean emotions as well. Okay, so the body and the emotions are not separate. We will go on this fundamental. Body and emotions are not separate. So the first one is how to listen to your body. Second is how to hold space for your emotions. And third is how to transcend and allow stillness to take over, so that when you open your eyes, you become completely at home with who you are in baby steps. It won't happen overnight. The key to this exercise is, it would be amazing if you can do it under somebody who you feel safe with, but it doesn't matter even if you don't have somebody, which is why I'm saying use this video as a tool, because virtually I'm still available as somebody you might not know, but you at least have an assurance that this person, because I'm guiding it, that is why there is some level of trust. The key here is to allow your emotions to come through. Don't be ashamed of it. You might have tears, you might feel uncomfortable, you might feel knots in your stomach, you might feel all sorts of things, anxiety, whatever you want to call it, anxiety. Let's not label it. We have a tendency to label it. But try, even when you're labeling it, get bored of it quickly. Just remember, Dhruti said not to label it, so just get out of it instantly. And just witness the emotion as it is. Alright, so let's start doing it. If you are doing it with me, I will close my eyes and I will take you through a guided step-by-step process. So first one is listening to your body. Alright, so gently close your eyes. You do not have to look at me to do this exercise. But if you feel uncomfortable with your eyes shut, you can continue looking at the camera and simply watching me do this exercise and just gathering the energy or the rhythm of my guidance. As you sit with your eyes shut, allow anything to happen in this moment. Thoughts, your breath moving at a very stable and a steady speed. It could be very fast, it could be slow, doesn't matter. Just try and witness it as much as you can. At any given point in time, if you feel something has taken over your body and you feel uncomfortable, try not opening your eyes if you're doing it with your eyes shut. Instead, just blow from your mouth or exhale like this. This will automatically give information to the body to settle down. You can do this a couple of times just so that the body receives the information. Settle down. I'm here. I'm completely present to your needs. You can keep doing it for as long as you want till you feel fully present, available inside your body. Exhalation is very important. When any fear or anxiety or restlessness, if your body starts shaking like this, just, or if you're tempted to open your eyes and you feel a little bored, you feel like shaking, just keep doing that, keep doing it. You will experience different emotions at this time. The key is we are developing the faculty of listening like somebody who is very safe to be with. So you are offering that safety to yourself. And when you feel that some kind of stillness has been restored, now just witness your breath. Just be extremely present with your breath. And just remember the gentle instruction that whenever you feel astray or scattered or out of control, you exhale. This simple, most humble exercise can bring you into the present in this body. You can even softly exhale. And now, when you feel that you are present fully in the body, just ask a question. And the question is, how are you, my dear heart? You can even touch your palm, place your palms on your heart and ask this question, or you can let it loose. There is no formal sitting position. You can even lie down and do this. How are you doing, my dear heart? Just listen. Don't run away if you can. If you feel like running away, exhale. You have to speak to your heart like you would speak to a 6-year child. who's probably afraid, confused, scared, or doesn't know anything. That is the first point of awareness. You will speak with absolute gentleness. And allow your heart to speak to you, whatever it is that it wants to speak. It will not use words. You might just have tears in your eyes. You might feel certain visuals, memories play out. Let it happen. The heart's wisdom is like the sea. It's vast and deep. It will show you exactly what it feels. It's so in need of your attention. Just listen to it. Listen to it with your body. Experience everything you're feeling in your body. You might want to crouch. You might want to shake it a little bit. It will all come naturally to you. You don't have to do anything consciously. Stick only with the question, my dear heart, how are you feeling? What would you like to express? I am present and I'm here to listen to you. It might tell you, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm lonely, I don't know if I'm deserving to be alive, or beautiful thoughts like, I'm very happy, I'm excited. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. There are no negatives, there are no positive. Don't judge it, just let it happen. And whatever it wants to express, it will express through the body. Just listen and be present when you're listening to it. Let it go through the experience of, you have to make it comfortable, like a child. And say, for example, if an emotion has taken over where the heart is actually wanting to express and it starts expressing itself, go through it. Another very beautiful practice is, if there is a lot of pain in your body and you want to be comfortable and you want to be held, you can even hold your knees to your heart or hold your body together and just, like how you put a child to sleep with a lullaby, you can just move to and fro or forward and backward. Like you are appeasing the child, you're making it calm. You can do that to your body. Treat your body like a child's body. Once you have felt this sense of relationship with your heart, just simply now move into the second phase of listening, where you are now forming a relationship with your heart. There is no separation between you and your heart, or your soul, or your inner child, whatever you want to call it. We will call it heart for simplicity purposes. We are going to hold space and we are going to form a new bond with this. How do we hold space? You are simply going to say these tiny words. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here. I'm here. If you're excited and you're feeling celebratory, or you feel like extreme happiness, you can still say, I'm here. I'm here also means I'm here to celebrate it with you. I'm here. I'm fully here. I'm here. I'm here for you. It doesn't have to be these words exactly. It can be your own rhythm, your own poetry, your own words. The body will tell you everything. I'm here. I'm fully present. When this heart has heard and has confirmed that you are there and the heart has felt safe, you will now breathe into it. This is the most crucial step of holding space. How do you breathe? Consciously this time. So you take a deep breath in through your body. You sigh. After a long tired day at work, how you sigh, that is the sigh you have to bring into the body. And with every sigh, your body softens. And as if you are holding the space of your heart, and there is no separation, your breath starts becoming more softer and subtler. You just keep deep breathing. If any kind of emotions take over, remember the exhalation, you can only exhale. Automatically, inhalation will take care of it. You just focus on exhalation whenever you are met with any kind of an anxiety or uncomfortable emotion. Once again, go back to deep breathing. And with every breath, experience this new relationship you have with yourself that you have never had before, or you may have had but you forgot. With every breath, there is no separation between you and your heart. You keep coming closer. You feel more comfortable in your body, as if it's a cocoon. It's a womb. It's taking beautiful care of you. It's holding you like the earth holds you. Keep softening your breath consciously. Just feel the rhythm now of the breath softening. Softening of the breath is very, 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 very crucial. You might go into a bit of trance, or you might have an out-of-body experience. Just allow that to happen. It is all part of the experience. Just experience the body in its absolute softness, no separation, no division between you and your heart. Your bones soften, your veins soften. Don't reprimand or get angry at yourself for anything. It's a very safe cocoon. We don't want to spoil it with our unconscious moments at this point. If you feel any sort of heaviness, just exhale. Continuously be there. Breathing and allowing any experience to take over. Listen softly. And when a natural meditative state takes over, allow that to happen for as long as you want. We are entering the third phase of listening, where we are transcending old patterns and conditioning, roadblocks and emotional complexities that once governed your body, but you are now transcending all of that and arriving home to yourself, little by little. You are doing that by being fully present with an atmospheric sound. Whatever sounds are around you in your atmosphere, just listen to them while the breath is moving softly inside you. You can even notice the breath move in your navel center or your abdomen, and be cognizant or aware of the atmospheric sounds around you. It is this body that is facilitating this experience for you. Honoring it is our greatest priority. Just allow a deep calmness to take over. You can stay in this position for as long as you want. I will now be moving into coming back into the body because I'm on a virtual platform and I would love to stay forever with myself and with you, but that's not possible. So you can continue to stay. I will be ending this video very shortly. You can continue to stay like this. Just enter this beautiful moment of restoration, welcoming your heart, forming a new relationship with it by saying, I'm home. I'm home. Allow your hand to touch whichever part of your body you feel like, whichever part of your body, doesn't matter. Every organ is sacred, every part of this body is sacred. And just say, I'm home. If there is pain on any part of your body, you can touch it very gently and say, I'm home. Or you can talk to the part which is in pain and say, I'm here, you're home, you're at home, I'm here. This is just being present with everything. The idea is to soften your experience with yourself and allow your body to be completely at home just the way it is. This is the most sacred point of contact with your soul. One of the most sacred point of contact. After this experience, you can feel free to journal if you feel like, or paint, or draw, or make a cup of tea for yourself if you are in the comfort of your home or whichever space you're working from. You can daydream for a while, open the window and just look outside. You can spend time with your emotion. If any kind of emotions come up, you can allow that to happen and just simply sit with it. If you're somebody who's very visual, you can allow your visual senses to simply guide you into whatever safety and fulfillment in this moment means to you. You can even leave your questions, comments, if you have any doubts, if you'd like to ask something that you're not clear about, feel free to put your message in the comment section and I will make sure that I answer them. I'm going to end this video without disturbing your state. I wish you a beautiful day of being at home with yourself, and many, many beautiful days to come where you grow deeper and deeper in the roots of your being, and always arrive home to yourself and know that you are never alone. You are never alone, you were never alone, and you will never be alone. You are held, you are loved, you are completely taken care of. I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you so much.